Hey everyone, what's going on? I wanted to take the time to talk about Mass Effect Andromeda today. I feel like it's really popular to dump on the game these days. There's a patch coming around the corner, so I don't want to talk about things like animations and things that can be fixed, but I want to talk about things that I think are lacking in the game. And, there's issues in this game. It's really disappointing because I'm a huge fan of the series. I love Mass Effect. I loved all of the games except for one. One wasn't all that great, and the ending of three. But I was really excited for Andromeda, and I'm really disappointed by what Bioware put out. I think that a lot of things could have been fixed. Like, I think one of my first issues with the game is the action, the fighting, the combat mechanics in the game don't work as well as you want them to. I think that in trying to make it a more combat and quicker paced game, they ruined the tactical part. I mean, I think that the game is lacking when you try to. How is it that in Mass Effect 2, you can have tactical menus and you can set your squad partners to do different things and you can control their abilities and make for more exciting gameplay. Now, in Andromeda, you can jump around, use your jetpack to go around quicker, but it's really random depending on what abilities your partners want to use. It's getting a biotic combo is totally up to if your partners decide to use Singularity at any moment. And, it's funny to me how that was in our control, and I guess to try and streamline the game, they decided to take that out. It doesn't make sense to me. Another thing that I think bothered me a lot in the game is the exploration. Like, it was based a lot, like, it feels a lot to me like Dragon Age Inquisition. And Inquisition was a great game, and I mean, I think that the exploration in Andromeda is alright, but it's kind of lacking. I mean, how is it that you just roll around in the in the Nomad, which again, not really feeling it either. But when you're going through these large open spaces like Vold, the ice planet, it's just it seems totally empty. Other than the few like encampments that you run across, it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot to do. And another issue that I think, uh, puzzles, the little Sudoku puzzles that they set up, I think totally kills the pacing of the game. And I'm someone who really, like, I enjoy a game of Sudoku. I think it's fun, and I know that it's not a popular opinion. I don't think a lot of people play Sudoku for just fun. So I think that, and in the probably I want to say 20 hours that I put into the game, the I found one decryption key. Imagine people who don't enjoy Sudoku. How are they supposed to get? I mean, I don't know if I've missed them, but I I can't say that people are gonna enjoy that. I think that maybe they should try streamline it, maybe reduce it, or try and make it easier for people because it kills the pacing completely. You're going around fighting things and trying to explore, and all of a sudden you get bogged up in a puzzle for like 10 minutes. It doesn't seem fun. And the whole point of it playing video games is to have fun, right? I think that another thing that I don't think is fun is driving the Nomad around. I can appreciate what they did in trying to give it two different abilities to get over terrain, to either go fast or to get over mountainous areas, but it still hasn't fixed a lot of what the issues were in the first game. The reason everyone didn't like the Mako in Mass Effect 1 is because it felt like you were driving an RC car, like it didn't have any weight to it, it didn't feel heavy. And I can see that they tried, and I give them props for that, but the game, like, the Nomad doesn't fix a lot of the issues that were still going on with the Mako. And, you know, I can't really say that I enjoy going around in it. it you can upgrade it as you go along, and that's another thing. The upgrades and the menus and everything in the game, totally a mess. Like, how is it that it takes like 3 minutes to find a side quest, if it even shows up, or if it'll go under some totally random folder that you'd be like, this just seemed like a random side quest on the Nexus, and it turns out to be some like loyalty mission. I spent like probably a good 5 minutes trying to find like the dragon mission, like the first part of it. Why? It shouldn't be that hard to navigate a menu. Yeah. Another problem that I don't appreciate is, well, I think it's not really fair to compare Andromeda because Mass Effect. Well, it is fair because Mass Effect Andromeda trying to be something new, and in doing that, they should have tried to create something spectacular new. Like the first Mass Effect was like Mass Effect One had so many aliens. It totally introduced us to this new like world, and it was awesome. I mean, that's why people really enjoy the game. Like the Vorcha, the Tarians. Like these are all things I haven't seen, obviously, because they don't have like story plays in the game. But like we have the Hungarians and the Ket, and that's it. Two races when they had, I want to say at least 10 with totally different totally different makeups. They were all super different. I think that they really missed out on opportunity to be creative by not including new races. And I like the. I'm not a huge fan of the Ket, but the Hungarians look cool. I like the. I like the way they look. That I'll give them that. Uh, and another another problem with the game is that there's a lot of bugs. I that is it's I think it's come to be kind of an accepted thing that games get released with bugs. Like Bethesda releases games with a ton of bugs, and people have come to accept that. And I don't think we should. I think that that is an issue. Games probably like I would rather wait a month or 2, 3 months, for a game to get done pretty freaking well, so that we don't have to deal with bugs. And like I got caught fighting. I messed up one of the puzzles, and then I got caught in a fight. First time that happened to me. And then after I beat the fight, I see there's one enemy left on my map. And when I look around, where's the enemy to be found? I just couldn't find him. It wasn't there. I had to reload the game. Like that shouldn't happen. I've seen my more than my fair share of characters like go through boundaries and like just be standing out of the ground, and like just things that shouldn't be happening in such a like I think such a large deal. Like people really love this series, and I love this series, and it was a little surprising to see how many bugs it got shipped with. But I feel like I've covered a lot of negatives about the game, and there is one positive. I think that for the first time ever, I think having an open skill tree was a great idea. I really, really like the ability to be able to change those kinds of like my abilities and my kind of stat boost on the fly. That's awesome. Love that. I think another thing that I think a lot of people have kind of tripped under the bus is kind of the characters. I think that there's obviously some people who got more love than others. I think that PB and Cora were probably the ones that got the most attention. They're great. I think I was listening to like a sound bit between PB and Cora, and I think it was funny. I found it charming. I don't think the voice acting is horrible, but I don't. I think they're alright. I think that a lot of the characters could have used some work. Like I can't even remember the name of the character that you start with. The other one that you start with that I can't remember. So maybe it shows that they're not that great. So kind of defeated myself on that one. Um, yeah, no, I think that this has gone on a little bit too long. I'm not gonna get rid of it because I want it to get better and I want to play the game. I've never not beat a Mass Effect, so I'm not gonna give up on this one. And they just and BioWare